Cheer! What is going on, everybody? It is I, yours truly, the Ace, here with my MCU Series Ranking featuring my boy Frank G from Geek Spot News from this past weekend of my birthday stream. Once again, appreciate everybody who dropped into that stream to wish me a happy birthday. I appreciate you all and hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to everybody that's in the building. Appreciate you guys for joining me on this birthday stream. I have my boy Frank G from Geek Spot News. Like I said, every Monday, make sure you guys check him out. Great channel. He's had me on there a couple times. I'm completely grateful. So I got a couple things lined up, you know what I'm saying, for you. We're going to do one, and then we'll get back to the topics. All right, I'm going to give you a choice on what you want to do first. Do you want to do the blind ranking, the series, the MCU series rankings, or do you want to do the all-time gross blind rankings?
I want to do the series rankings since I actually first. Time and wrote that out.
Okay. Well, no, we got to do the other two before you get out of here because I did. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much blind rankings. We'll get to that, and we'll get to that in a second. All right. So obviously there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I counted 10. Right? Because this is what I did. Yeah, because I combined the Lokis and I combined the what ifs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I forgot about the what ifs, and I did not combine the Lokis.
Okay, so how do you have 10? What do you miss? What do you have extra?
I have. I'll go through them but
okay, we're just gonna be doing the not the retcon stuff, not the Netflix stuff, just the MCU because they did add that there. All right, thank you, Daniel Barry, for popping in. Jacob, thank you guys. All right, so in last place, I got Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't think there's much to talk about on that. It was just in typical Marvel fashion where they rushed to the end. That whole thing was just crazy. My boy Rel, thank you for popping in. Says, "Oh, appreciate you." But it's easily last place. What do you think? Well deserved.
Oh yeah, 100% last place. Great first episode. Dog shit the rest of the way.
Yeah, good. This is the thing. It had potential as a espionage MCU movie of its first. You know what I'm saying? Black Widow's kind of like that. Winter Soldier's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? In a little bit, but fully espionage. And I feel like they dropped the ball.
They totally dropped the ball, and killing Maria Hill off in the first episode was just. It took the wind out of the whole thing.
Yeah,
for me.
Yes, that's definitely both our last place. All right, for me, what do you have next? What do you have second to last?
So I'm not going to include the what ifs because I totally forgot to put them on here. Mm-hmm. They would have been pretty low down the list. Well, the season 2 would have. I have She-Hulk at 9.
I have She-Hulk at 9 as well. So we're both on the same page.
We did not talk about this ahead of time. He just told me what he wanted me to do. So we're not. Yeah.
Yeah. She-Hulk is just like, go ahead. Why is it so low for you?
Again, it had potential, but they flubbed the CGI. You made Daredevil a joke. Like, you bring back the awesome costume from the comics, the OG costume, but you made him a joke. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It just felt too, like, I didn't hate it, but in all the other stuff that they released, it sits at 9.
Yeah, I hated it. I couldn't get past the CGI, how bad it was. I really couldn't. Like, Tatiana Maslany, great. Very, very good. Very adoring. She's cute for it. She's good as She-Hulk. I want to see more going forward, but with a bigger budget and better writing, because it just seemed like this show was more focused on trolling itself and the audience than it did about giving us an actual good cohesive storyline. Like, it's kind of like it preemptively knew that it was going to be bad, so we're going to try to get ahead of it and joke ourselves and joke you for not liking this ahead of time, and that's it. And I was just like, this shit is horrible.
The Kevin joke at the end would have worked if the whole of the show was better. That joke would have landed perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer.
Kevin?
It stands for knowledge and
you're the one who's making all the decisions here?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Stop.
No. And it was just all over the place. And then how, like, the season finale was just, the best episode was the Daredevil episode, though, even though, it was just good to see Charlie Cox actually in the Daredevil uniform again, Daredevil suit again, because obviously we saw him in No Way Home. It was great, but we got to see him good, which is, good to see him briefly in Echo, which is also on the list as well. But overall, like I said, it deserved to be in the second to last spot on my top 10. So,
yeah.
All right. So at number 8, Robert, thank you for popping in. Appreciate you. So at number 8, I got the What Ifs. I have the What Ifs because they're cool to think about. And I love the introduction of the new character, but overall they just don't. Some of the stuff I feel like could be trimmed out. We don't need everything, and ultimately they're cool scenarios, but in the grand scheme of things, I just kind of think they're pointless at the end of the day.
I could slot the What Ifs in here too. The first What If was way better than the second What If that I haven't finished yet, that I'm going to get shit for, but eventually I will finish it.
Add to that watch list.
For me at number 8, I have Moon Knight. It's way down there.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, but again, it just felt like it dragged on too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that probably could have. I have it pretty high on my list just because I love that whole lore type thing. But I can see why it turned off some people, especially because the CGI wasn't the best either.
Nope.
So, but great acting.
Oh God, yeah, he was great at it.
Yeah, great acting, very emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we'll get into more of that as. So, any other reason that you didn't really enjoy Moon Knight?
No, that was really it. It felt shoehorned in at the time, and it was more like, I don't know. It didn't resonate with me like some of the others. Like my top 2 or 3 are things that I'll watch over and over again at some point. Not now. I don't rewatch stuff yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got so shit. Thank you, Steve, for that $5 donation. Happy birthday, brother. Appreciate you, man. All right. So what do you have next after Moon Knight?
Where are we at? 6? 7?
Yeah. 7. No, 6.
7.
6.
I have Echo down there at 7.
I have Echo as well.
I only have Echo that low because the other shows above it are a lot stronger. They advertise this show as the next big gritty thing, and it's going to be so gritty and in your face. The first episode was pretty gritty. And the rest of it was it wasn't a bad show. She was great in it. Alaqua Cox, right? Mm-hmm. She was great in it. It's great to see Kingpin back. The technology that they used for the sign language when he put the contact in her eye, that was outstanding. I hope that that's something that actually they can do in the world, like for real, because that was amazing technology.
Reality often imitates art, so yeah, it could be
right. But overall, it introduced a bunch of side characters that I just didn't care about at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Biscuit.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't know who he.
Yeah. Nor did you care. Like it's this. Like you said, they advertised as being gritty. But it's like, why was it gritty? Because it showed a little bit of blood, because it showed, more violence without cutaways than what MCU's used to. It's like, it really feels like they were trying to be the Netflix special, but it didn't work. Like I said, she was amazing though. I like her. I think the first, and contrary to what you think about the first episode I think was pointless because it was literally just the prelogue to, like, you know what I'm saying, like the first one that you saw already.
But that was where they gave you the Daredevil thing, but they teased the Daredevil fight with her as being this as good as the hallway scenes in the Netflix show, and it wasn't. It was a good scene, but it does not rank up there with any of the Netflix fight scenes at all. It was just a good fight scene.
Yep. And then they busted their load by leaking it. Why would you leak the whole thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, prologue is what I meant to say. Like, the whole first episode was nothing but a big prologue where you really didn't have to watch it. Like, I feel like it had potential. Interesting character, semi-interesting character, definitely had potential. And I would have liked to see what episode they left on the cutting room floor, because it got cut down from 6 to 5.
Right. And this was supposed to be the throwaway series that they were going to throw out just because they had nothing to put out at the time. And like I said, it's an okay series. It drug on in places, again, which they seem to do a lot. And Star Wars does the same thing, is they have these episodes that just drag and are pointless. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that weighed that down, along with, again, the characters that you don't know about and you don't care about.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Next on my list, I have Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So do I. At
I
6, yeah.
see me and Frank, we're on the same page. I swear to
Amen.
you, and you guys know how transparent I am on the channel. If I mess up, I mess up. Me and Frank didn't share each other's list. I literally just said,
No.
let's do a top. One of the things we're gonna do is a top. Falcon and Winter Soldier is there for me, and you would think because it's in the middle. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you. You would think that because it's in the middle doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just because the other ones I feel like are better. I felt like after watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was MCU's pocket as far as for the series. They were perfectly in their bag when they did that. The action sequences in the first episode with Falcon, the buddy cop dynamic between two characters that were already established was just so good to bring back what's her name? Peggy's daughter, Sharon Carter.
Oh, her niece, yeah.
Yeah, Sharon, to bring her back was great. She's great. In the MCU as well. And I felt like that, it didn't try to be anything more than what it was. It gave us a perfect embodiment of what the MCU movies are, but just in a series.
I agree with that. I love the dynamic between Bucky and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they started that dynamic early on in the movies, and it carried over, and it worked really, really well with them.
Can you move your seat up? No.
You're not going to move your seat up, are you? No.
I liked all the characters that they introduced in that series. They gave you a little bit more on Baron Zemo and him. That was great. And you got the original super soldier. I forget his name. That's supposed to be in the next Captain America movie too. Yeah, but they gave you a lot of groundwork. I mean, that scene with the new Captain America and the Shield, that was more brutal than the Echo fight scene.
Yeah.
Like, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Like, that was eye-opening. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought all the characters played so well in that, and I think they were still riding a high off of the movies at that point, and things hadn't gotten stale-ish like stuff that's followed it.
Yeah. Isaac Bradley is who it was.
Yes.
Yeah. See, it was good. One little nuance about the show that I liked is because they gave us the past with Isaac Bradley, then they kind of gave us the future with the Patriot. You know what I'm saying? Like how they established these characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not like it's forced. So I just felt like it was good because, like I said, it was very entertaining. And then obviously, it introduced us again to Valentina as well. She was in the series, and it kind of gave us, it was good to see George St. Pierre again. You know what I'm saying? Good to see him since the Winter Soldier. Obviously Zemo and the Zemo dancing, and that was very entertaining and stuff like that. It was just overall a good show. You know what I'm saying? The Flag Smashers. It was solid. But the reason why it's in the middle is just because it's kind of, the other ones, in my opinion, are just a little bit better. Before we continue with the top 5, I want to thank each and every member of the channel. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.
I could have flip-flopped this with what my number 5 is without thinking about it.
So what is your number 5?
Number 5 is Loki 2. So I put
really?
Loki yeah. So I went back and I actually watched that series again.
Wow.
It's a lot better than I thought it was the first time. It definitely also, again, all of these series drag in places. You're never going to get a series that doesn't drag. But this show, the end solidifies it as a top 5 show. Just the end alone. It was sensational. And the character arc that they took Loki from the first Avengers movie to now was so well done. It gives you hope for what they can do. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. See, the thing is with that, okay, when I get into Loki, I'll get more into mine. At that spot for me, I have Moon Knight, which you addressed. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just, for me, I just enjoyed the lore of it. Oscar Isaac was amazing. I was about to say Isaac Bradley, because thank you, Sydney. Appreciate you for pointing that out. But Oscar Isaac was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the emotion was there, especially how he's able to flip from character to character, play multiple different characters, and it's just so believable. You know what I'm saying?
He did a great job as an actor.
Exactly. Like that one scene where he finally realizes, like after his mom's funeral and he's in the street, bro, that gets me every time. where I'm like, bro, that's acting for your ass right there. And it's just, like, could the CGI have been better? Absolutely. Did the end fight scene really have to turn into like a big kaiju battle? No, it didn't have to. But I thought, it was solid. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was definitely, one of the better ones in my opinion. So that's where I stand on it. Next
Fair.
one for me, I got Miss Marvel.
At what are we at? 3, right?
4.
4? Where's my
Yep.
4? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 4. Okay. So Miss Marvel's a little higher up on mine. I have first season of Loki. At 1, because
Okay, so you kind of I see what you did. You split the seasons and stuff like that. Okay.
I split them in. But you could make a case for them both being together, and if they were both together, I'd probably have them down at 6.
Of course, got you. Miss Marvel for me was great. It was a fresh take on one of the newer characters in comics.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Iman Vellani was absolutely charming, very adorable. Her family dynamic was very likable. I like how they pulled off the time travel in that movie. I thought it was very well done for that series. Is it the best time travel we've seen? No, but it works for what they were trying to accomplish. And then it set up other things, and it actually had me excited for the Marvels movie, which was the worst movie of 2023 that I saw. And I was excited because of what her character could have been, and I like how she's developed. I think she is one of the better characters as of recently that we've gotten, and I can't wait to see what they do with her going forward, especially if the rumors are true of she's going to be leading. She's going to be like the new Nick Fury of what I'm saying, with the Young Avengers and stuff like that. And I loved it.
I will give more thoughts on that when I get to it. Just to touch on Loki season 1 a little bit, the way they handled that was really well. The way they handled him, taking him out of time from that spot and putting it over here, and the whole build up to the end with he who shall be renamed or whatever. I don't even think we can say his name anymore now, but yeah, he who shall be renamed. It just was so well done. And the introduction of that character at that time, the Kang character, was like, oh my God, like that knocked your socks off. It was such a good introduction for a character. We'll see where they take that going forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be going forward with that. So, but like I said, Jonathan Majors knocked it out of the park. You know what I'm saying?
He absolutely did.
And it's unfortunate.
So this means our number ones are absolutely going to be different, which is good.
Absolutely. From this point on, it's going to be different. All right, so we're in the top 3, right?
Yep.
All right. So number 3, I have Hawkeye.
So do I.
See? Okay. I love this show. I didn't get to do my my Christmas rankings this year. Channel was very busy. Obviously, I started working with other people as well too. So next year, fully expect for my rewatch every December is always Hawkeye. I love the show.
Fair.
Love Kate Bishop. Love how they establish her character. It's a Christmas show, so it's a self-contained Christmas show that is very small scale. Not everything with the MCU to me needs to be multiverse, end of the world. You gave us something that was very small, told a great story with an established character in Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, passing the mantle in a great way. And you can see how the show continues to go on for episode to episode. Their dynamic continues to get stronger and stronger every episode.
This would be a lot easier if we were facing the other way.
You were facing the other way.
Yeah, hey, we're communicating.
And it's just so good, and it was so refreshing. Such a great holiday show, in my opinion.
The dynamic between Kate and Yelena was off. It was off the pages. They worked so well together.
You're really Natasha's sister? Yes. Wow, I did not see that coming. Thank God I didn't kill you up there.
You kill me? Kate Bishop, you are so funny.
And some of that was improv from what I was reading. The stuff with the macaroni and cheese, some of that was improv, some of that was in the script, and letting them go and do their own little thing like that. I was excited for the Kate Bishop thing. I didn't know a lot about Kate Bishop. Jack, the guy I do Geek Spot News with, Jack Kidd, he's a real big comics guy, so he knows a lot more of the comics lore and explained a lot more of it when we did the review of the show. Excuse me. Jack's a little harder on these shows than I am. I don't think Jack would have a top 10. I think they would all be below 10 for Jack, all of the MCU shows. But I I really, really enjoyed this show as a whole, especially with how grounded it was. There were no superpowers. It was them finding stuff that they had laying around because there was no more Stark tech for them to make their arrows and stuff. And you know, the boomerang arrow that was a big thing in the comics, that she wanted to have a boomerang arrow. And that whole scene was just so well done.
Absolutely. And it's just like from the beginning how they established, like, you know, she saw as a kid, you know, I love how they went back to 2012.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I love, like, when I think MCU is probably at their best is when we get to see things like that. And in the end game, I love seeing events that we've seen already, but from a different standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like in Endgame, where we got to see it from like the outside standpoint, and then in this one, we got to see it from Kate's standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Because it ties the story together so perfectly.
Absolutely.
And she's just such a great character. She's one of the better, stronger characters as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
doesn't hurt that she's not bad to look at.
Oh, Haley's very pretty and amazing voice. Obviously, she voices Gwen, and she's killing it, and she's killing it right now. You know
she just needs to dump Josh Allen and come to Philly. That's all I'm saying.
Here you go. All right. So what do you have as your number 2?
All right. So my number 2 is WandaVision.
I have that as well. So it's not too some. It's WandaVision as well as my number 2.
WandaVision to me was so good. Not just because it was the first show. I got the first couple of episodes with the 50s, 60s, 70s. Like that was stuff I watched growing up. Right. Not the 50s and 60s stuff, obviously, because I'm not that old, but I do remember reruns of that stuff, and they nailed it. And I thought the whole story as a whole, Jack will break my stones because I kept waiting for the engineer to show up, and I was so sure the engineer was going to be like a Reed Richards, or was every week we talked about it, and I was so sure it was going to be something big, and it was just another person. And that was the only part of that show that let me down. But I'm glad at the same time, because you didn't need that.
Yeah, because the show was still great without it.
The show was phenomenal.
What got me was obviously it was the first. I think they did it smart by actually releasing the first 2 episodes that were the slower ones at once, because I think if it would have spanned it over 3 weeks, where you kind of had the first 2 episodes that were clearly set up, it would have lost some people. Because I remember talking to one of my good friends, Josh Stallworth, and we have a movie group, we have an Avengers like group chat or whatever, and the after the first 2 episodes, he missed the first week, so he missed the first 2 episodes, and then watched the 3rd episode. And a lot of people felt like this. They were like, yo, the first 2 episodes kind of stunk, and it was kind of slow. And then by the end of the 3rd episode, he was like, yo, I'm hooked. Like, because when they released that, well, wasn't he killed by Ultron?
He was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? What did you say?
And then they started doing that, was when it was good. But what got me with this show was every week, it was just a topic of discussion where we're like, theories were left and right. WandaVision launched a bunch of popular channels, and it's just like the not knowing and the what is it every week, and we're having conversations every day in these group chats that I'm in, like, yo, what do you think is gonna happen? Is it Mephisto? Is it, is it this? Is it that? And it didn't disappoint. Elizabeth Olsen killed it. She is also another one that is really good to look at as well, very attractive. And they just did the damn thing, in my opinion. That's why it's definitely number 2 for me.
Yeah, it hit for me on all things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So now I'm curious to see what your number 1 is, because I have Loki. I have the Lokis as my number 1. What do you have?
See, my number 1 was Miss Marvel. I thought that was. I mean, look, Imana went from cosplaying Miss Marvel to writing comics about Miss Marvel to being Miss Marvel. Like, this girl has had an amazing journey just on its own. But like you said, the family dynamics. Miss Marvel at the box office, or the Marvels at the box office. Was it good? No. Was it a fun movie? Absolutely, it was fun. And she was the main reason that movie worked. Her and the Nick Fury that we needed in Secret Invasion is the main reason that movie worked for me.
Yeah.
Her family dynamic, all of that. I thought they handled it all so well. And that little music teaser at the end, that tiny little music teaser that they gave you was beautiful.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes, like a mutation.
They gave you that little X-Men cartoon teaser music right at the end when she mentioned mutants. To me, the whole thing was great.
Oh yeah, and then that was amazing. Yeah, definitely a great show. Great show. Heather, thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Like I said, Loki as a whole is mine, and I will be clipping this, and I'm gonna put all the rankings at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Just to make that extra content. Appreciate you, Heather. Loki, to me, from start to finish, if you include both seasons, in my opinion, is the best show, because how it gave once again, it gave us a villain with virtues that was just such a great character. And when I do my character rankings for the MCU, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is going to be one of the best ones. Just how we saw him, and he got 2 payoffs basically. He
We'll never be.
and then he got another payoff at the end of this series. And it was just set up so perfectly with one showrunner. So it all felt organic. No reshoots, no rewrites. They proposed it to Marvel. Marvel said, I love it. Do it as is. Because Marvel has a problem with reshoots. You know what I'm saying? That's why all these movies tend to be shitty now. But what they gave us as with Loki was just amazing. How he went from the god of mischief to like the god of time was just such a great character arc, and that's why for me it's definitely number 1.
Now I can understand that. One day I'd like to sit and look at all of the Marvel shows as a whole too, because I would have had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in my top 5.
Maybe one day we'll add like the Netflix and all that other stuff there, because they just retconned them all. So
they retconned everything but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's the only thing that hasn't been retconned yet.
Yeah,
which bothers me.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, solid list. I'm gonna go through mine one more time. You go through yours as well. So I got Secret Invasion, She-Hulk, What If, Echo, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, WandaVision, and the Lokis.
Right, and I had Secret Invasion, Loki. Wait. So I wrote them down. Secret Invasion, She-Hulk. I didn't write them in order. I wrote numbers next to them. Moon Knight, Echo, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki 2, Loki 1, Hawkeye, WandaVision, and Miss Marvel.
Yeah. So we were close. We were similar, you know what I'm saying, on certain points. But yeah. But that was a good series ranking. I've been wanting to do that with you for a while. Like I said, I'm gonna clip it. I'll tag you in it. You could definitely use it as content as well. And I'm going to put all the little rankings on the bottom because I left space for it. So that should be pretty dope as well.
Nice.
But MCU, man, the series as a whole, though, it's like, what do you think about them? Do you like them all as a whole? Would you just prefer the movies, or where do you stand with that?
The only problem I have is if you didn't watch a movie, you don't get a show. And I, like, on one hand, I love the fact that they're interconnected because I'm going to watch it all. I'm going to watch most of it. Let me say that. I'm going to watch most of it. I can't actually say I'm going to watch it all because I haven't. There's a couple things I miss here and there.
Frank, miss a show? No.
But it's all interconnected. So the casual fan that isn't going to sit there and watch 40 some movies doesn't know what's going on in these TV shows. It's hard to make the TV show stand alone, not with the movies. I personally like them. I think that if they tighten up the CGI and they tighten the stories up a little bit, you're going to have better overall stuff.
Another thing, well, I'm sure that you love that you love Miss Marvel, is because they finally gave you the Eternals. What happened to the giant celestial god that's in the middle of the ocean?
It's only been how long that thing's been sitting there?
The first Eternals. Yeah, and they kind of just threw it in there as like a little Easter egg on the side that was very missable. And I know it's been driving you crazy.
It has. It shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Pointless.
That whole movie was another one. I thought, like, speaking of series, I thought that movie. There's two movies that I think would have worked better as a series. I do think Eternals would have worked better as a series because it could have
100%.
gave you more time to flesh out the characters. You know what I'm saying? But I understand why they didn't, because you have too big of names to throw them in just a series right away. Jon Snow. You know what I'm saying? Like Salma Hayek. All of them. They're too big of names to really just throw
Angelina
immediately.
Jolie,
Angelina Jolie.
Gemma Chan. Like, they're all huge name actors.
Yeah, you have a lot of people on the come up. The guy that played Joker, somebody, I forget his name, but
Barry Keogh.
Yeah, he's on the rise right now too. Another one I thought would have worked better as a series if they had all the rights to everything that they could have had would have been Civil War. Civil War would have worked better as a series, in my opinion. Only if they had all the rights because of how long it was in the comics. There's so much they could have done.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Secret War. Is they're trying to, they put that out far enough that maybe they'll have, well, they do have all the rights now to all their stuff. They just have to slowly introduce it.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out to my man Frank G for popping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel with his boy Jack Kidd, Geek Spot News. The link will be in the description below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to the Ace Avenue. You guys know what I do. For more content just like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.